I just wanted to share some good news with the group.
Sweet. Yeah.
So just to, I don't know if you guys remember, but I mentioned. So I started doing all this about 4 months ago, and I got into contract on my first off-market deal about a month ago, which is in the Silicon Valley, in the peninsula, in the San Francisco Bay Area. So first deal ever through the system, right? And at the time, I was 100% set on flipping it. So it was a heavy lifting, 1.7 million acquisition price, after repair value 3 million, and I was ready to do it. And I started raising the capital from my investors, and I was good to go. And then I spoke with some of you here that recommended, like, why don't I wholesale it, basically, because it's true at this point I was not in a very strong cash position, and after 2 years as a full-time entrepreneur, it would be really nice to get paid, right? And so long story short, I decided to pivot strategy, and right at that moment, a very experienced flipper, actually a mentor of mine, said he was interested in buying the contract from me. And so it was a bit stressful because I had no assignment clause in the contract, because I was so sure I was not going to wholesale it. I had no assignment contract. So I had to learn, and I learned a way how to still assign it without having that clause. And so long story short, what ended up happening is I signed the contract to this guy. And but at the last moment, at closing, the escrow had to add the assignment document in the paperwork for the seller, right? And I was very anxious. He would not like that at all. But everything went well. We closed yesterday, and I want to share with you this massive assignment fee I made. I made a $250,000.
Holy shit!
Yeah, assigning that deal. Yeah.
Damn! Holy shit!
So massive win,
I thought you were
guys.
gonna say
Massive
like
win.
60 or 70 or something, not
Man.
250. Holy shit, Oliver, that's fucking awesome, dude.
$250,000, guys. First deal.
Oh my god.
Yeah, big. I mean, it's hard to imagine.
That's fucking sick, dude.
Fucking retire,
That's
dude. You're
badass.
done. You're
So
done.
I'm done, guys. It was nice to know you guys.
That is awesome, dude. That's what that's one of them deals, I call it it's your breakout funds, you know what I mean? It's that was the best decision you could have made, for sure. Like that gives you breathing room. It gets you the ability now to focus on not the stress behind the company, but like, how can I continue to replicate the process, man? That was a foreclosure, was it? I can't remember.
No, it was a tax delinquent. But I just want to take a bit of time to share a few facts about this. So the first thing I want to say on the personal level is true. This is such a relief for me and my family personally, because as an entrepreneur, I've been hustling, for 2 years, spending a lot of money on like ground up development deals, but not making much money in return, and even questioning, like, why does everyone seem to be making all this money in real estate, and I seem I'm only spending money and not making money? Like, is it really real? Is all this real, that you can make money? You know what I mean? And so for me, it's and my wife, it's just a huge relief, this money, but more importantly, that now I know exactly what to do, right? And I think the money is amazing, but I think for me, the deep relief is that I know exactly what to do now. I know it works, and I'm just going to replicate. So that's amazing. And so, but to answer your question, the lessons learned here is that it wasn't a tax list, but it was not because of the tax thing that was not the problem, as it seems is often the case. The main thing was that this guy was living far away, and his mom he was the trustee, and his mom was living in the house, but she had Alzheimer. And so she moved out of the house. So now this guy lives far away. He doesn't want to deal with this. The house is in bad condition, right? And so he wants to sell it. And the reason it was tax delinquent is simply because the mom had left the house, as no one was taking care of it. But the real pain point was living far away, not so much the taxes. So that's point number one. And now point number 2, which is a amazing lesson to me, is always have the seller tell their price first, because the reason why it's such a massive deal, and by the way, I know the flipper is going to make even more money. I mean, this deal was so juicy. I probably actually left money on the table, but that's okay, right? To get paid, and I trusted the guy, right? But my point is, I asked him the question, so what, how much you want? And he's the one that said that very low price. I would never have dared to offer such a low price. You know what I mean? So I think the lesson learned here is always have the seller offer a price first.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's what I do personally. I try to figure out where they're at first, because I've had the same thing where their expectation was way lower, and I'd rather them be hot, tell me a high number and me have to work that, than me tell them a super low number and then them get insulted. And so I'm the same way. I don't like, I like them telling me the number first and then me working with that, and going from there. If they tell me a really low number, then I'll still try to beat them up a little bit, make them think that it's not perfect, and then I'll go from there. Or if, depending on the situation, like, you know, financially strained, things like that, I'll just go with it and let them make their money if I'm already making a good amount of money. Like,
Guys, I mean, it's a huge relief, honestly. Tyler, I mean, thank you so much, because literally without REISift, this would not have happened. So it's, you know, I was reading those things, you know, on the forums and all that, but before it happens to you, you don't really believe it. You even question, like, is this real somehow? But then it just happens, and you know, just hard to believe. And I'm just super excited that now I have the leeway, you know, I have the runway,
yeah.
to make it happen, and now in a much more confident and stress-free way, you know.
Dude, yeah, I'm stoked about it for you. And it was still a click to call, right? I mean, or was it a bulk dialer? I can't remember. You had bulk dialer going on,
This
wasn't it?
was bulk. Oh, and one last lesson learned for the group is that the guy, because you know, everybody asks themselves, why would they sell to me? There's so much competition, but it's really about the timing. And when I called this guy back, he actually was in the car going to see the property from Sacramento, so like 2.5 hour drive. And when I called him, he said, "Look, you're calling me at the perfect time, because I'm going there right now." And I said immediately, "Can I join you there right now?" Like, so
Yeah.
the guy was going there, pure coincidence. He was driving there. I said, "Okay, I will meet you there in 1 hour. Is that okay?" So I was very quick, and I have no doubt this guy had many other calls, but I think partly probably he kind of liked me. I guess maybe it's the accent or whatever, you know. Partly I was very quick. And so I think a big part of this business seems to be just the right timing. That's sometimes it seems it might be the only differentiation with the competition is just you're the third person to call, but it's the right time, you know.
Yeah. Dude, that's amazing, man. I'm super excited for you now to have that leeway and to be able to focus in and replicate the process and just continue to dial in. Obviously, what I will say, because you know, I feel like I don't think you'll have this issue, but what happens when people do make this money is they'll end up spending it on things instead of just replicating. So just make sure that now that you have the money, protect it. Obviously, scared money don't make money, but at the same time, you know, you don't need to do anything different. You just need to replicate, and so just continue to do exactly what you're doing. Add on to it, obviously, what you're already focusing on, but don't go like adding in a ton of direct mail, and don't go adding in a bunch more cold callers, and don't go hiring people. Like, don't do any of that. Just continue on the course that you're
Okay.
already doing, because it works.
That's I just want to add one thing on that. So interestingly, this flipper that bought it from me, he's a mentor and kind of a friend. And I think he was impressed. He was impressed by me getting this deal. And the guy's been doing this for like 20 years. So very experienced guy.
Yeah.
And he actually said, "Hey, Oliver, I'd like to talk with you about potentially partnering and maybe
Yeah.
injecting some money in your business, and maybe we can partner." So I
Hmm.
was wondering, like, would that be a good idea, or would he, you know, like, scaling might seem like a good idea, but are you saying it's probably better not to do that and just stay doing the exact same thing? You know, what do you think on an offer like that? You know?
Yeah, I would prove it first, right? You know, as amazing as this deal is, the deal is one in probably however many deals, right? And so we want to make sure that we prove, obviously, that we can continue to get in contact with sellers, that we can continue to generate leads, that we can improve upon our existing process. And once that's rocking and rolling and it's smooth, and we're seeing more fruits from that labor, then I would say, yeah, we can kind of start adding stuff in. Now, if somebody else wants to do something, because you understand, like, oh yeah, I could do some marketing for them. If somebody else wants to come to me and be like, hey, Tyler, I know you know how to market and I have money, I have like 10 grand a month, let's just say, that I'd like to spend towards marketing, then I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, I'm not going to guarantee you a return on that, but I can put your money to work for you to try to help generate you some deals and funnel, but I would funnel them back, the leads or something like that. I don't know. I don't know that I'd spend too much energy on something like that, but there is a way, and I've done it in the past with some people locally where they had some money. They're a flipper, but they run other stuff and they wanted some opportunity. So basically they gave me like 15 grand. I spent 3 months, 5 grand a month, basically generating some leads. We got a couple deals from it. We partnered on those deals and then we did something like that. And that's okay. But you really want to have some really good consistency and things put together before you start doing that, because you don't want to disappoint, right? So,
and I think, because I know he has good intention and all that, but like he's probably thinking, okay, now Oliver knows the market, so he just wants to put some money to work. Basically he said he could cover all my expenses, but then now, but the thing is, now that I have money, so to speak, why would I need his money? You know what I mean? That's the thing, right?
Yeah,
unless it's for,
I would keep your head. If it was me, I would keep your head down. And I understand where he's coming from, right? When you have somebody that and they start having, they're what they're doing works, right? Then they're like, hey, I want to kind of attach myself onto that. I mean, there's plenty of SIF users that I've watched, and even war members where I've watched them like, hey, they're doing really well, they're being consistent. And I watch to see like, hey, can I end up, partnering with them and what they're doing or things like that. You see Jerry Norton doing the same thing with starting Joe Homebuyer stuff, with people, it's a common thing for, once there's, because you might spend however many hours, in days and weeks, communicating with other individuals, right? Like me in the SIFT community, stuff like that. And it's once you find the person that actually is working, it is a refreshing thing, and it's hard to not want to be like, yeah, like let me come be with you, and help you, but from the other side, you got to make sure that you still don't let that stop your forward progression, because someone coming in now may do more harm for you than it does good, even though money is nice, right? So you just gotta be careful of that. But yeah, it's literally just having a conversation with a SIF user last night that I've been watching since like November to see if they die out or if they phase out or if they become irrelevant with what they're doing, but they're still consistently having the same results. And I'm like, hey, like, you might be a good COO for me, right? Like you may be somebody that I would like to bring into Florida Cash Real Estate because of that, but I'm giving it time, I'm watching. So one-term success doesn't mean consistent success, because it's easy to make a lot of money quickly. It's really hard to make a lot of money for a long time. So yeah, I am looking at Jaime's here. I've been staring at it this whole time. It's so perfectly shaved. No. But yeah, so anyway, I would continue doing what you're doing. And then if the time is right and it makes sense, then do that. I would sooner say like, hey, well, no, but it would, that maybe not right now, but since you're willing to, invest some money into my business, would you be open to, also being a private money lender, for some deals? If I do get another deal, like open up that kind of conversation maybe first, but, yeah, just depends.
All right. Sounds good. Well, thanks guys for the support.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Really, really awesome, man.